Hello lovely people, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. Today we're here to do the first of two videos on a show. That show being the one, the only Hot Mess, currently playing at the Other Palace until about September time. I will give you an actual date shortly. So yeah, if you want to know everything you need to know about the show before you go in, stick around and we'll get into it in 2 whole seconds. So yes, this video is all about Hot Mess. If you're wondering what I should talk about, why we're doing 2 separate videos on a show, can you explain this please? Yes, I can. We do this every video. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. Get ready for it. If you are here as a repeat watcher, apologies, but we have to get through it. For every show that I see, I like to do 2 separate videos, time and willing permitted. The first one is this one. This is the Nervous Guide. The Nervous Guide is everything you need to know before you go into a show, be that content warning, sensory warnings, view from my seat, merchandise available and merchandise bought, because I like a bit of merch. What have I not said? I should know. Running time, age recommendations. I think that's pretty much it. Basically anything that might help a trip to the theatre run a little bit more smoothly, because I know for some going to theatre is quite nerve-wracking, and if you can take some of the nerves away, then jobs are good. And especially if you're like me, and sometimes, for example, this whole trip that these videos are coming from, I saw pretty much every single one of these shows on my own, and that is also quite scary sometimes. Enough of that though. That is this first video. The second one is the review. Review is always put in inverted commas because at the end of the day I'm no way professional. I just like talking about theatre, and like I said, I go alone. I don't have the chance to have the soundboard afterwards talking about everything I enjoyed about a show, so I put them into a video. And that is pretty much that. That was quite long-winded this time round. I can never be like bam 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 bam. I like to chat. I've been starting with merch recently, so I'm going to keep going on that track, because my merch buying happened in 2 separate sittings. You're thinking, what are you talking about? Well, when I enter a theatre, the first thing I do is go for a wee. Standard. There's usually less of a queue when you enter. Side note, because sometimes I do talk about toilets. The toilet situation at the Other Palace has never done me wrong. It's not the largest space in cubicle collection. I think there's 4, maybe 5 cubicles and about the same amount of sinks. However, the space has always been pretty decent for me, and I am quite a wide human being, and it's always been relatively clean, and I've never had to queue. I've just shot myself in the foot, and the next time I go to the Other Palace there's going to be a queue. But yeah, we'll move back off the toilets. I just thought I'd mention it. The second thing I always do when I go into theatre is go to the merchandise. I love to look, I love to purchase, and there are 2 things without fail I will pick up if they are available. First one being the thing that you've already seen, the programme. I can't remember how much the programme was. I'm sorry, but I do know that this and the other thing I bought the first time around, which is this, came to £14. So I'd assume like 4 and 10 or 6 and whatever the equivalent is, because I can't do maths. This is the pin badge. This is the other thing that I always buy if they have one. It is wooden, which is very different. I'm very used to an enamel pin. for theatres, but we have wood because looking after the earth and all. And it literally says Hot Mess the Musical, and it's in the shape of a heart with a picture of the earth in the background, because that's the whole vibe of the show. So I bought those two together. Like I said, they were £14. Whilst purchasing, however, my tote bag senses were tingling. I also have slowly begun to gain quite the tote bag collection. I don't know where this started, although I can never go anywhere without a tote. It's just in my being. I will always have a bag and then a tote extra because I can't pack lightly. So my tote bag senses tingled. There is a tote bag available, but I looked at the price and I was like, it's £20. I don't know whether to purchase this or not. So I just bought the programme, I just bought the pin, I walked off of my merry way, went to find my seat. The tote bag was then in the back of my brain for the entirety of the show, and I had kind of said to myself, if I enjoy the show, I will buy the tote bag in the evening or when I'm leaving. She bought the tote, you know. The tote bag is quite a sturdy feeling one. It is a canvas style bag. On the one side it says Hot Mess, a new musical, and on the other side, and I think this is why it got me, it says been there, done that, got the tote bag. There is a song in the show called Been There Done That, and I love a tote bag. So when I saw it said been there, done that, got a tote bag, I was like, yep, that is me. So that is another one for the collection. I'm thinking of doing a tote bag collection video soon. It's not massive yet, but I want to show them off. So look out for that video. But that is all the merch I bought. I think I said that the tote was £20, which was, you know, but I got drawn in. I can't help it. Next, let's do my seat. For this show, I sat in E17. If you've never been in the other palace before, the theatre is all one straight section. It's not like stalls and a circle or whatever. It is quite compact, but I do have a soft spot for that theatre. It's where I first saw many shows a few years back, so it was really nice to return. I was sat in E17 like the band. I won this through Rush, so I only paid £20, and the view was phenomenal. I mean, I don't think there's a bad place to sit in this theatre anyway, with the possibility of maybe row A and B right on the edges, because there is a set that is kind of built up a little bit, so you might miss a little bit. So maybe there is a few not so great seats. However, I feel like it's just a great place to sit, and the seats are comfy, and where I was sat was right on the bend on the curve, so I got a little bit more leg room. I mean, it was a good day all round, plus the pre-show music that they picked, it was fun. And they all made sense as well. They were all kind of weather, climate, etc. based. I was like, I see what you've done here, and it was very good. Next up, let's do age recommendation and running time. The running time of this show is 1 hour and 15 minutes all the way through. It doesn't feel long. It was just perfect length. I could have watched more. You could have done a little bit extra and put a break in the middle, and I would have been lapping it up. But it is 1 hour 15 minutes all the way through. Didn't really get uncomfortable. No notes. The age recommendation on the Todaytix app, and I assume also on the theatre website or there or there enough, it says ages 12 plus, parental discretion is advised. Now, I happen to be sat next to two mothers and their two sons, as in two friends that had brought their sons out for the day. Now, there is one moment of intimacy shown during a song. It's quite damn dirty. No, that made me sound weird. It is quite visual. There is warning in the content, which I'll get into it in a minute, to warn you about that fact. And there is also an intimacy director, controller? What is your job title, please? Intimacy director attached to this show. I think that's mostly for this reason. It's not a lot, and yes, if you are going with your parents, it could be a little bit awkward for 2 seconds. Like, the people next to me were giggling their head off because they didn't realise what was going to happen. I didn't know what was coming either, so it was kind of funny to me. But there is something to be aware of if you're taking a teen and you are sat next to them. Maybe. Moving on to the content and sensory warnings. Now, as you enter the theatre, I didn't see this until afterwards, but as you enter there is a poster which, I mentioned this recently quite a lot, but some places don't give you any warnings on their warnings, if you will, and therefore you go in completely blind, and that's sometimes not helpful. But the other palace, being the great human beings that they are, have a poster on the door and it says content warning, flickering and flashing and try that one again, flickering, flashing and strobe lights, smoke and haze, references to climate emergency, that's not a warning you see every day, occasional swearing and scenes of intimacy. I've already mentioned the intimacy ones, and yeah, I agree. I didn't actually write any further notes on this show when I sat and watched it, because I kind of felt like that poster ticked all the boxes, if you will. There are moments when the lights are quite flashy and in your face. There is one moment towards the end-ish of the show where the male presenting character goes up, or says he's going to go and leave in a rocket. When he exits the stage is then filled with smoky haze which protrudes out into the audience a little bit, and there are lights that go all around the stage and they light up to kind of implement that he has gone up in his rocket. So if you're okay with bright lights, if you are okay with haze, and if you're not going to go and sit there with your 4-year-old watching a certain song where there is a little bit of sex time going on, it's kind of an easygoing show. It's not one you need to think of a great deal, and it is all done within the hour and 15 minutes. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I need to say. My brain. Everything I need to say on the show done. If you have any questions or you think I've missed anything, feel free to put it in the comments down below. I always hope these will become quite a collective brain situation, in that if I've got anything or if you feel like there's something else that someone might need, by all means always write it in the comments, because if what I'm saying isn't going to help, somebody's link that's in the comments might help, because my things that upset me and make me nervous are things that might not make another person anxious or such. But enough of me rambling on. I'm going to leave this video here, have a quick drink, and hopefully film the other video for Hot Mess before I curl up in a big ball and take lots of honey and ginger. I just want this cold gone. Anyway, that is enough of me rambling on. I'm going to bid you farewell and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you come back next time. And the last thing I say is what I always say to finish, which is so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and goodbye. Bye everyone.